Hello and welcome back to Advanced Concepts. Looks like today is our very final entry here in Advanced Concepts 1. This is Disarmed Mimics. Let's check it out. Mimics, one of the most useful tools found in any dungeon. Who doesn't love a good mimic? Their behavior patterns are well understood, but what about a mimic without a sword, or for that matter, a decoy without a sword? Welcome to the Disarmed Mimics Annex. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce this, but I recognize this name. It's the same guy who did Speed Potions, is that right? Speed Potions and Complex. Am I remembering that right? Certainly looks like the Speed Potions in terms of the layout style anyway. Yes, so as I mentioned previously, I have done this before, but I don't really have any memory of it. So we're just going to go and see what happens. Mimics / decoys with disarm tokens / ormites. All kinds of options here. Everyone who doesn't have a sword in their hands automatically turns in the direction they're moving. Those who have a heavy sword have to spend one turn turning it, and they don't automatically turn in the direction they're moving. Roach actually also turns in the direction it's moving. It always tries to move in a straight line towards you, and when it moves in a different direction from which it's turned, you might say it bumps the wall trying to move towards you. Yeah. Which I think, as I pointed out in the brain movement annex, you can use that as a clue as to whether the roach is brained or not. If it's brained, it'll be going south because it'll be taking the path directly towards me. But since it's not brained, it's trying to go into the wall, so it's still moving south, but it's got a diagonal facing. Guard, on the other hand, needs to slow down. I'm going to go like this, because it's going to be the fastest way to get north of here. I don't know if that's going to be important, but... Okay, so yeah, the guard is changing, is facing. The guard doesn't bump the wall, and when he moves over ormites, he always turns in the direction he's moving. Okay. When you move without a sword, you also turn in the direction you are moving, and if you're swordless and bump an obstacle or teeter on a pit or water edge, you will turn in the direction you're trying to move. Proof of concept. Okay, what's going on here? I guess I put a mimic here? Of course, a swordless mimic also turns in the direction it's moving, and if a mimic bumps an obstacle, it will also turn in the direction it's moving. Even though the mimic never moves if the player bumps an obstacle, the swordless mimic will turn in the direction the player is bumping, whether the player has a sword or not. I don't know if this actually had... No, it did have applications for turning the mimic relative to you, or something like that. Especially if ormites are involved. This is also much more important when the mimic is wielding a dagger, because you can use this to have the mimic stab or reorient in certain ways. Yeah. But like if we see... Well, actually, that's here. So here, I'm going to move this way. The mimic moved west, even though it was given a northwest input, so it's facing west, which is the direction that it moved, not the direction that I moved. Right, so this is how you can kind of change things up a bit. Mimics that are forced to move in a different direction than the player will naturally turn in the direction they are moving, not the direction the player is moving. Okay, as we've discovered. When both the player and the mimic are swordless, that is the only way to get the mimic to face in a different direction from the player. I'm going to guess that you're just going to go onto the pressure plate. And now, I don't really have a lot of choice, do I? Yeah, and that was set up just to be perfectly timed like that. Since the player moves before a mimic, when you step on a disarm token, a swordless mimic will have its sword restored in the direction it was facing before your move. So if we didn't have the disarm token here, I step here, you can't actually move, so you're going to hit the wall and face to the northeast. But because there's a disarm token there, you immediately get to rearm and face that way. Okay, I recognize this room. I guess memory is a weird thing. I recognize that zigzag pattern. Yeah, this looks familiar. You're free to choose which way you want to go first, but if you're not quite sure how mimics or decoys work with disarm tokens or mites, you should probably go east first. You can right-click any square in the game to see exactly what's on it. If you right-click on a character, you will also see the character's movement order. Okay, yeah, so that's all stuff that we know. There's some different rules of which monsters move first. For example, mimics will always move directly after you before all monsters and characters. Mimics move in the order you place them. There already are mimics in the room. They will move in the order the architect has placed them before the mimics you place. Fagundos always move before all stalwarts. Stalwarts always move before slayers. Slayers before guards. Guards before monsters. All monsters, however, roaches, golems, snakes, omplic, tar mothers, etc., including half, for some reason, will move and spawn in the order the architect has placed them. I actually did not know that about half. That's interesting. So if I wanted to design a room in which monsters move before health, I could do that. That sounds like a really annoying thing to build as like the linchpin of a puzzle, but good to know that it could be done, I suppose. So what did it say? Go east first? Yeah, we're going to do that. Because I don't really have any preference one way or the other. Okay, now this looks like complex. There's some stuff like this in there, sort of. When the player, a mimic, decoy, or clone step or are placed on a disarm token, all characters are affected. But if the player, a mimic, decoy, or clone step or are placed on Ormites, only the character standing on the Ormites must sheath its sword. Right, okay. So as we would sort of expect, the disarm token affects everybody in the room, but the Ormite does not. So for this, then the only thing we can do is that. Now you can see some of the roaches want to approach that mimic, or decoy rather, so we're going to go back like this so that they can advance, and then we're just going to do this again. Yeah, this is very, very shades of complex. Much simpler, but this style of puzzle. This room is a little harder than the previous one. See if you can work it out. Well, there's a helpful hint scroll. Nice that the architect is being friendly, though. If two or more decoys are equidistant from the monster will move towards the decoy placed last. I think this is sort of a convention that they have throughout a bunch of different aspects of DROD. Like temporal projections work the same way as well. If the projection and V-throw, or two projections, are equal distance from a monster, the monster will go for the one with the later turn order. As long as there is a convention, I suppose that works just fine. Okay, so the trick here is that with the disarm token, the goblin is going to be paying attention to the decoy and ignoring the decoy's sword. But if I did something like this, so he's scared of the sword, but now there's no sword there. Now there's a sword, so he's scared again. Now this is closer than this, so if I did something like this, you would... I think your preference would be here, but this is your second preference. Okay. And... I think I see what I did wrong there. Oh, yeah. If you're disarmed and you place a decoy, or mimic, the mimic or decoy will be armed. Just kind of a weird thing. I don't think that works with clones. I'm actually not sure now. If you're disarmed but you place a clone, is the clone going to be armed? But it does work that way for decoys and mimics. I actually built a room involving 2 mimics where you had to have one armed and one disarmed to solve it using this interaction. It's a neat little thing you can do. Okay, so what I wanted to do here, what I did wrong here. So if I place, for example, if I did this, you are equal distance. You're actually focusing on that mimic, that decoy. And I can disarm and rearm and you get stuck there. And then that's a loss, right? I knew that was going to be a loss and I still went and did it. Okay. Alright. Because the trick here is that there's timing involved and I might not have left myself the right potion here. Because I need... to do that, you move there, and we want... right. I think timing might not actually be an issue, because we can just do that. There we go. Try to get the mimic to turn around without turning yourself. Self-imposed challenge? No, enforced mechanism. Okay. Facing this way is fine. So now if I turn, I'm sealed in either direction. So I can never turn. Are these on arrows facing the opposite way? Yeah. Okay. So those roaches can only move down to here or up there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place this here, go north. Oh right, I can't do that. I guess I can just do that. Yeah. How did... oh, you're going to... I didn't even notice, but... okay, yeah, so that means I can't actually, even if I wanted to. Oh, I mean, I could turn it that way, I suppose. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's, oops. Okay. And throw everything all together. This room might look very complicated, but if you know what you need to do, it's not too hard. Okay. First of all, what's going to happen? If I just wait here, nothing moves. Are you on an arrow? You're on an arrow. Okay. And the adder is not like its head. Because their heads are all on arrows, they're not shrinking? Is that how this works? I think that's how this works. So I'm going to do that once, twice, and it activates everything. Okay, so if I just wait here, adders will shrink. Do I want adders to shrink? I don't think I do, because I want... I think what I want is I want all of these adders to be length 3. So they can go in here without blocking each other. The last one has to be length 4. And then there's something going on in the middle there, but I think that's the gist of it. There's a mimic for some reason. Let's not worry about that just yet. Okay. Oh, that permanently toggles that. Okay. So I'm trying to get all of these guys down as short as I can. I don't want to shrink this first one, so I have to wait turn. I want to shrink that one though, so that's fine. All those want to shrink. Those are all 3s, and then this last one, I can't do that. I can't afford to do that. Okay. Oh no, Okay, let's use this one where we have a checkpoint so that we can. No. I guess I could use the mimic in order to do this more efficiently. That might be what the mimic's for, but I don't want to... Like, what I mean is I can step myself and then have the mimic activate the other one on the same turn, and that way I could force this last one to... Okay, or I can just wait around forever. Two more times, okay. And get this last one through. Okay. I'm going to checkpoint again. And the trick is that as soon as you die, I'm stuck, right? That's what I need the mimic for? I can't actually get out otherwise? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Once you step on the yellow floor, the roaches will attack you from both sides. Can you figure out how to make the mimic's sword point in a different direction than yours? Well, we do have ore mites here, so I'm guessing that is the answer. Is that the direction that I want? First of all, I can rotate my sword in any way I want. So if I did something like that, yeah, that's what we want. Okay, so now I'm going to do this so that we can trade, but we want to be slightly offset so we can do that. I think that's good. There we go. Beautiful. I love doing things like this with mimics. This is so cool. So we screwed up. Even if the Mimic's sword points in a different direction than yours, the Mimic will still try to move and turn in the same direction as you. Yeah, no, that's super cool. I love doing stuff like that with Mimics. Looks like I have to do it again, only with a Disarmed token instead of War Mites. Use the Disarmed tokens to get the Mimic sword facing in a different direction than yours. What happens if you and the Mimic step on the token at the same time? Yeah, okay. Well, if I do that, it's going to be facing that way. So if I want it, the reason for that is it'll be disarmed. I won't turn because I'll have my sword when I'm stepping. Disarm the Mimic. The Mimic then steps here and then turns to face that way because it's not armed, and then it rearms itself. So if I want to be opposite, I would do something like this. And again, we're gonna do that. If you wonder why it works as it does, it's because you always move before the Mimic. Yep. So when he steps on his Disarm token, he's already swordless, and therefore he turns the way he is moving. Beautiful. One more time. Try using just one Disarm token to get the Mimic sword facing in a direction that will help you conquer this room. Okay. So this time, the difference is that we're both disarmed. Like when the Mimic steps on it, it doesn't make a change, right? We're always going to be facing the same way. When I step, we can change. Not really meaningful if we're not armed, but... Oh, actually, I think that's what I want, isn't it? What was I saying? When I step on it, when we're disarmed, so if we're disarmed and I step on it, I turn to move the way I'm facing. The Mimic then has the sword before it moves, and therefore it doesn't change its the direction it's facing. Doing this from the south this time. Illiterate Mimic. This works in a similar way as I explained earlier in the hold. If you step back onto a Disarm token when you are the Mimic or swordless, the Mimic will get a sword back before he even moves, and therefore he will not turn his sword in the direction he's moving. Get to do this one or more times still. Remember, Mimics and Decoys are always placed with their swords, even if the other Mimics and Decoys are swordless. Okay. That's going to be a loss if I do that. Like, spawn the decoy right on there, I mean. Yeah, because I have to get there to get these guys out. Okay. So what this is saying... I can't put a decoy... Oh, I can. I have these. Okay. So I was wondering about that. So I can do this. There we are. Disarmed decoy. And then I'll have an armed Mimic. Like so. Okay, easy enough. I don't really feel like I need to explain my thought process here, because it's kind of just doing the same thing over and over. Just a slight variation in how it's set up. But yeah, that was a matter of arranging it. Actually, I guess the thing that's worth noting for this setup, the Disarm token is a global room state. So it doesn't matter if you're armed or disarmed when you step on the token. What matters is whether the room is set to be armed or disarmed at that time. So when the decoy, or when the Mimic stepped on the token, it already had its sword, but this was a rearming token at that point, because the disarm token had already been toggled. And you can actually see that, well... Just quickly show that off, I guess. So yeah, you can see this is a disarm token right now. When I put the decoy on it, they're now a rearm token, right? The token itself has changed. So that's, in this situation, it doesn't matter. The Mimic is already armed. Rearming doesn't affect the mimic. The mimic was armed to begin with, so it doesn't change. But if I do this, so I'm armed. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean that's what we've been doing this whole time. Yep. Okay. Disarming. Challenge: clear this room, only letting the mimic stuck on the ormites in the center of the room. Oh dear. So what's going on here? One mimic probably goes here, facing north. Second mimic goes here? Yep. This setup basically allows me to move however I want. No, not however I want, but close. I feel like this is slightly more efficient. Okay. So this is just going to be about using roaches, right? To get leverage. That's the only thing that's happening here? I mean, I guess I have... Oh, no, I can... something like this. Okay, and now I need these, which involves I mean, this is kind of weird. I can't really... I don't really know how to explain what I'm doing with the tunnels here. I'm just kind of doing this by feel, to be honest. There's a certain... Oh. Oops, let's not do that. Just screw this up. No, okay, I see. I need to be here. Okay, that'll let me do that. Okay, so the trick here is that if I want to be facing this way, I have to be here. Okay, which means I have to step onto this ormite going south. Okay, let's just center ourselves that way. There we go. And I don't have to do anything fancy because that just happens to work in that angle. Okay. Challenge complete. Not too bad. That's been half an hour. I did get exit level, but I'm going to take a quick peek at the rest of this and just see how long I think this is going to take me. Or at the very least read what these scrolls have to say. Exit to the south. To the west you'll learn about some more complex movement and disarm token behaviors. You might have wondered what will happen if you and several mimics step on a disarm token at the same time. It's not too complicated, actually. You have to remember that in DROD, all that moves in turns, and if someone steps on a disarm token, it's activated instantly. Oh, there's a scroll there. First, you step on the disarm token, disarming yourself and all mimics. The first placed mimic in the orb above, being disarmed, turns in the direction it moves. The second placed mimic gets its sword back as it moves onto the disarm token and therefore doesn't turn. The third placed mimic loses its sword, turning as it moves, and so on. Okay. It's one of these. Oh, it blocks that. Okay. Is that all it blocks? That's all it needs to block, because they're arrows. Okay, I don't know if this order matters, but we're just gonna... something like that. In fact, I'm forced to, aren't I? Because there's... yeah, this is set up in such a way that there's no other tiles to actually place a mimic on. Which would mean if there was one more mimic potion in this room, it would actually be completely impossible to take that potion. Because I don't think there's any way to get the mimics to kill each other either. Yeah. Mimics that are unable to move never turn their sword, unless you do. But everyone that's swordless always turns in the direction they move. This part of the room works in about the same way. It will require some thinking, but I'm sure you can figure out why it works as it does. Where was the last... There's no checkpoint. There's no checkpoint in this room. Okay, I was trying to figure out what it is I was supposed to actually be learning from that. Here, we'll just... use the mouse. It's going to require some thinking, but I'm sure you can work out. So, here, the difference is that when I step here, they're all disarmed. No token is being hit. So they're all disarmed, they all hit this wall. Now I step south. This way they all try to move south, but then their arming changes. Okay. And I guess there was a potential for this to be... No, that's... No. This is fine. To understand these rooms, you really have to understand how every move is divided up in turns, and you can only kill something on your own turn. Oh, seems like an obvious spot to put the mimic. What do these do? Oh, well, yeah, but what do the bombs do, of course? No, they seal that. And there's an arrow here, so once I go in, I'm stuck. Okay. So it is a loss. If you or a mimic, for example, have no sword in your turn, but regain it later during the same turn, the sword cannot kill anything. Okay. Where do you guys go? Here and here, I guess. In this room, the first placed mimic will lose his sword stepping on a disarm token, and then the second mimic will arm him again. But the first mimic won't kill anything, since its turn is already ended. And then the roach will simply step. It will simply step off the first mimic's sword unharmed. Okay. But bombs blow everything up anyway, so it's okay. Right, so if I wait... Okay, so the trick here is that I want to do this in such a way that... Darn it. Alright, I can't rotate my sword, that's the thing. Okay, so what's going on here? I want to... do that. Wait. There we go. Now I can turn my sword, but it doesn't really matter. Before you start playing through this room, make sure you know what all pressure plates do. It'll be much easier that way. Now that just opens that, and it'll seal my exit. So nothing new there. Okay, so I have to place a decoy. So what do all pressure plates do? You open that. Seems pretty necessary, but that's probably for a mimic. That's probably for a mimic. Although the order might differ. Decoy, decoy? I guess the arrow prevents the adder from actually eating the decoy. So this has to go here. I don't have a choice. These can go in either order. One order might be correct, but I didn't check that pressure plate. Just what I expected it though. So from here, this order matters. First of all, I might actually want to back up so that I'm not ahead of these guys. Yeah, because there's an arrow there. I'm gonna see if it'll be okay without me going down here so that we're in a good pairing here, orientation relative to each other. But what's gonna happen here is you're gonna step and be disarmed, you're gonna step and be rearmed, but you're gonna be facing north. If I wait, then we can stab. Okay. The first place mimic can't kill the brains this move since it got its sword back after its turn ended, but since mimics always move before monsters, the mimic will kill the monster on its next turn before the monster moves. Although brains don't move, the principle is still applied. Okay. It works the same with decoys. They can only stab something on their own turn. For example, a decoy placed before a mimic will stab an adder before the mimic will move. A decoy placed after a mimic stepping on a disarm token will lose its sword before it will be able to stab anything. Okay, so that's what this is. So actually, I guess I would have messed this up if I had gone back so that I wasn't at the same timing. Or maybe it would have just been impossible. I don't know. So if I do this, you stab, you don't, which was the point of that. Okay. There we go. I think it will be hard to figure out how this room works, so here's the order in which you need to place the mimics. 3, 2, 1, 4. There's a clone. Okay. Behold, the invincible clone who can survive an endless number of sword stabs. Note from the architect, I did this room just to show how weird this behavior can get, and I'm not going to try to explain it. See if you can figure it out for yourself. But you did just tell me what the answer was, right? 3, 2, 1, 4. I mean, the only reason that that would matter... 2 is okay. I see. So I do something like this, and then that. Oh, I see, there's an arrow there, so I can't actually rotate. If I wait, I die, but otherwise... Okay. Okay, so let's try to figure this out. Why did I survive that first turn? Good place for a checkpoint. Your first turn, you step, everybody's disarmed. You step, everybody's rearmed. You step, and you are disarmed, so you don't stab. And then you step, and everybody's rearmed again. Now, this one was just necessary to get this initial setup right, but now you are toggling as well as you, so it's going to be the same, except that your position in the turn order has been replaced with this clone, which means it's going to do the same thing every time. There's an arrow here, isn't there? South, of course. Which means I'm forced to go all the way to the north like that. Also, the only way I'm getting out of here is to the north, with the cloud. Can you figure out why all mimics kill the brains directly? Remember to check in what order the mimics move, and also remember that you step on a disarm token first. Okay. Yeah, so let's consider that. I disarm. You move and arm. You are armed, you move and stab. You move and disarm, you move and arm. Yep, I got it. Thanks for the hint, greatly appreciated. If you remember what you learned in the previous rooms, I think you'll be able to clear this room. It's not as hard as it looks. Okay, we've got, again, no sword rotation. Seems to be a theme here. This is just going to seal the exit. It looks like this is the end of the line. So from here, we have 5 of these. This looks neat, actually. I quite like this. So here I step south, disarm. Yeah, everything's open. Okay. Yeah, and these seep are never actually going to step onto these doors. Yeah, these are all on arrows. So they can't. So if I step south, because the order here is going to matter as far as which ones are armed and which ones are disarmed. So if I step... Okay, this part I think I need to clear everything to the south. And then coming up here, I'm going to be flush up against the north. And then I clear the north in this path, maybe. Okay, so let's focus on that. Disarmed. Armed. But we want you... If we want to make this stab, we need you to be... armed. I'm disarmed. You're armed. Okay. So we want something like that. Then disarmed, we want you facing south. Disarmed. Do this one just because it's different. Disarmed, and then this one's not going to work. There's also no checkpoint. Oh yeah, there's a checkpoint on each and every one of those. Okay. Oh, you're not stepping the way I expected you to. So it doesn't matter. Okay. One down. Okay, so I was completely off. Let's start over. So we want 1, 3, and 5 to be these, based on what I just saw there, but why? So disarmed, on 1 is disarmed, rearms. 2 is armed, disarmed. Okay, yeah. It's just alternating. So let's do something like that. These 3 are all the same. What am I doing? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, So these three are all going to be the same. These two are going to be a different pattern. Hopefully this works. If I wait, I can get you to stab. Okay, you're already done. Yeah, just wait for the brain to not mess it up. Okay, so everything's done. This isn't going to help at all, is it? It gives me one last stab. Note from the architect. I'm sure all this must be very confusing, but you don't have to remember it all. I just thought it would be fun to include this behavior around disarm tokens. I hope these rooms have given you some insight into how the turns are divided in DROD. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, as expected, this was all fairly straightforward. I mean, it's not trivial. There's a lot of thinking involved, a lot of counting, but it was overall not too bad. Oh, there's more. Okay, 46 minutes. Does this matter? I've got 4 junk spots. I've got a disarm on a yellow door. I can't put anything there. Is this just a silly room, or is there something to this? I don't have that much of a choice, do I? Disarm, okay. You're now armed. But, like, I can't put anything there. Demonstrates that the clone is not armed when placed. Okay. Just so you don't forget, mimics and decoys are always placed with their swords, even if you throw a swordless. Clones, however, are always swordless if you throw disarmed. Okay. It's just a demonstration room, I guess. And then you're gonna have to go there. Disarm tokens do not toggle. They either disarm or arm you and all existing mimics, decoys, and clones. They do not disarm those who have a sword while arming those without one. Yeah, okay, that was just that wasn't really a puzzle at all. Well done. 47:29. Don't know why I bothered to read that out. Bethro exited from the disarmed mimic's annex, bursting with a newfound knowledge. I think I know what to do now. Knowing in advance wouldn't have helped, because I need to use this pressure plate. But okay, let's do that because we need to be further behind. Oh dear. It's gonna be my second death on the hub level, but that one was a little bit more deserved. Huh, this is actually... Okay, but is there a way to get... more distance than that? Aha, that's the trick. So I don't stab myself. I stab the bomb. Got it. Hold exit. And hold. Well, so it's taking its time. Alright, so that's it for advanced concepts. There is still the mastery area in the advanced brain annex, which I have no idea what that is or how long it's going to take. So it's going to be another episode on its own. There's also going to be the matter of any missing secrets, which I will also do in that part, absolutely before I do the mastery, because I actually have to clear all the secrets before I can do mastery. But I'm not going to find the missing secrets on camera, but I will find out how many I've actually missed. So I found 27 secrets, 30 hours. 100% secrets. Okay, excellent. Conquered advanced concepts, and so ends the tale of Ythro's journey to the hallway of advanced concepts. Hopefully, what you have learned in this hold will demystify some of the more complex rooms you'll encounter in other holds. At the very least, we hope you had fun. So next episode I'll do whatever's behind the mastery wall, and if it's really short, maybe I'll also give some thoughts on advanced concepts as a hold overall. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. So mastery, or post-mastery, I suppose. Post-mastery in the next part. I will see you then.